This week, we went to go see The Conjuring: The Last Rites in IMAX. That's right, in IMAX, but is it any good? We'll talk. Hi, how you doing today? It's Just Jess here. Hope you're having a good day. And today, yes, we just saw The Conjuring: The Last Rites in IMAX, but is it worth it in that format? Honestly, that really depends on you. I could not find concrete evidence that it was filmed or shot for IMAX. However, I did notice that some scenes did take advantage of the full aspect ratio, especially for the scarier ones. I did notice that the screen fully expanded in its screen line, so that was pretty cool. Although with the research I have done, maybe it's just a creative choice, or maybe they just do it in post-process setting that it was optimized for IMAX. But just to reiterate, it wasn't filmed nor shot with IMAX cameras. I did do some research, and I continue to do research just in case, because I was like, that looks a little bit weird. It looks like it was filmed for IMAX since it expanded. But then doing research, even on IMAX websites, it doesn't say film for IMAX like we normally do on this review channel. However, Dolby Vision would have been a great option as well, since you get the better contrast with the deeper black. Since this is a scary movie, those scenes would thrive, especially in that format. However, if you're watching this in IMAX, you still get the amazing proprietary sound that IMAX provides for those jumpy, bass, scary jump scenes of tension of the film. So that's pretty cool. So we got the movie The Conjuring: The Last Rites is a scary horror thriller movie releasing the first week of September, just in time for the scary fall Halloween season vibes. Fun fact, last year on this week, we went to go see Beetlejuice. So I don't know what it is about the first week of September that's like Halloween adjacent. September and October are anonymous for scary stuff. I mean, haunted houses literally start next week here in Chicago, so that's pretty cool. Supposedly, this is the final chapter of the beloved King saga of scary thrillers known as the Conjuring franchise that started all the way back in 2013. It's been over 10 years. That's crazy. The Warrens are back for their final case, and this time it's personal. The Conjuring: The Last Rites delivers the jump scares you would expect, but at the core, it's a story about family, love, and facing your fears together. This one dives deeper into Judy Warren's story, and there's an emotional attachment to it alongside the demonic terror. What will happen to Judy or the Warrens, and what about this new threat? Why is it personal? Find out as we talk about it. Before we talk about the present, we have to talk about the past. I've seen all of the Conjuring movies except for two. I know, right? Except for two. I have not seen the first one, which is beloved because everyone says it's probably the most scariest. And I did not see 2019's The Curse of La Llorona. Now, granted, I do have an explanation. The Curse of La Llorona, I did watch 20 minutes of it. It came out in April, and it was a beautiful sunny day. I went to Chicago, right? And I was wearing a good outfit. I was a little high, I'm not gonna lie to you. I saw the 20 minutes where she's like, "Mama, no!" And then the screen pulls away, and I ran out of there. I was like, oh my god, then I'm so scared. I don't know, that day was scary to me, and I went to the mall and I started partying and stuff. In 2013, when the first Conjuring came out, I knew of horror movies because I was still going to theaters consistently. Sorry, there's a plane. So in 2013, I knew about the Conjuring film, but that was the day me and all my friends graduated from high school. So I knew of movies, but I was getting ready to party, to enjoy summer, to go to college, being inside the wrong people, doing the naughty things. So I actually never watch it. And I know some people in the comments just watch it at home with the lights turned on. I probably will do a rerun of the marathon of the Conjuring franchise because I want to see how it started and how it ended. The other ones like Annabelle Comes Home or Annabelle Creation or The Nun 2, which, fun fact, I did watch the third one, Devil Made Me Do It, and The Nun 2, which link below. You can actually watch those reviews that I did on YouTube, just like this one. Although, just to be honest with you, I was a different person a few years ago. I was too hyper and stuff. I would always drink coffee and energy drinks, which I don't do anymore. But still, I've watched all of them in theaters with other people. That's the way I've done it. I've seen my AMC stubs list, how you can look at your tickets. So I've seen that before. I was like, okay, cool. I've watched all of them, so I did know kind of like a recap before watching this film. The reason why I tell you this is, I'm gonna be honest with you. Come closer. So my biggest fear in life is not getting someone pregnant or falling in love and getting heartbroken or losing my job, which hopefully I don't. My biggest fear is whatever this movie is dealing with. It's hell, it's demons, it's possession, it's demonic stuff, it's scary stuff. Like this Insidious franchise, possession, exorcist, that's what I'm scared of. Hell, demons, I don't mind seeing ghosts if they're good vibes and stuff, but seeing that I don't know, just my whole life, that's what I've always been scared about. Even the two nights after I saw this movie, I had to open my curtain when I was sleeping. I'm not gonna lie to you. With that being said, these movies just hit me differently than the normal audience would. Maybe it's because of my natural feels. Yes, I pray to God, and yes, I talk to him. But I don't know what it was that these movies just just get to me. Maybe because I love movies so much, I want them to be real. And I know this is real. Like, you know, of course, and God's real too. So I guess that's why I'm scared, you know, because some people might think it's not real. To me, I think it is real. But since I'm trying to be closer to God, hopefully it doesn't happen, you know. So let's just, I don't know. I think I'm always scared about that stuff. So, you know, I do gotta understand that watching this movie, I did close my eyes at some points. I'm sorry, and I was going like this, and I was looking away at like people, because I was like, no way, like I was scared. I don't know why. Although the times where I did open my eyes, I could say with certainty that I didn't feel as afraid as The Conjuring 2, which I was younger back then, and I had a girlfriend during the June when it came out in 2016, and I was probably a little bit drunk. So, and it's weird because I love going to haunted houses. If you see my Instagram, I love going to haunted houses. I like to get drinks, but that's a whole different story. In a movie, you're locked in. In a haunted house, you can move around, you can run, you can fight, you can hide. With this, in a movie, the only way you can run is the exit. You know, so I guess because in a movie you're locked in, but in a haunted house, which I've gone to various times and I can't wait to go, I'm usually a little drunk with martinis, but you can walk. However, with that being said, this movie does a beautiful job of building tension and suspense in dark areas presented in this film that you would see something and feeling lurking in the background. The jump scares are creatively done and done in a neat way where you think it's something going to happen, and one of them is actually my favorite scenes. I mean, who doesn't love scary movies without jump scares? I mean, they are absolutely needed to be in scary films. So the story takes place in 1987 as Ed and Lorraine Warren feels like they're on a long hiatus from tackling the demonic realm. They're still giving seminars, they're still trying to be helpful, not directly confronting that world. When they find out a family desperately needs them, a young Judy Warren, now turned adult, which is pretty cool, as events fold as these creatures give signs and signals that they want him to come back to the face, to why it's been so personal of this movie, giving her signs, giving her like scary sounds and stuff, and the family just doing things beyond the realm of explanation. Judy's much more older now. I don't know if you remember the movie Annabelle Comes Home, which I think came out in 2018 or 2019. She in that movie was young, right? When Annabelle doll came home, she had like a weird bad experience of it. But even in that movie, Judy was young. She started seeing things, feeling things, and this movie, her powers are heightened to new levels. There's a scene where she touches a coffin and she instantly feels the scary stuff. She looks up, and it's during the broad daylight, right? And that scene was shot beautifully. It's raining, of course, you know, they're all in black attire, but she touches the coffin, an older Judy, right? She touches the coffin and the camera just pawns to like what could be. And we obviously already know because something did happen, the death of that person, which I'm not going to spoil it here, but her powers are just at a new level, just like her mother was. Her mother is in tune with that sense. She knows about the senses, she hears about them, she can feel it, she sees it, even in some of the trailers with the hand. I was like, what the hell? You know? Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson's are in some ways the heart and soul of this franchise. It's a story about demons and hell and scary stuff, but at the center of through line is literally about them. They're the face of this franchise. This is awesome because these are characters that we have grown to love over the course of 10 years. To me, when they actually are on screen about the characters like playing in terms of acting, I feel like they really do want to do the movie justice. It really feels like they actually care about this franchise, about like religion, about coming together to defeat evil. This is what you would consider A-list casting, or now that we've known the Conjuring franchise is like star power, they deliver it to new heights. But the center of it is relationships, it's love, it's romance, it's teaming together. They ensue the trials and tribulations that they couldn't do separately, but together they are one unstoppable force. The third one, if you've seen the movie The Conjuring Made Me Do It, which I have seen in theaters and IMAX with friends actually, Ed Warren, he's still reeling over the contributions or what happened to him in that film. If you don't know, that film, early on he has a heart attack, and they still talk about it here. The doctor's like, hey, you can't have another one, otherwise you'll be bye-bye. And so they're reluctantly to go back into the fray. That's why they're in this long hiatus. That's why it's a personal case. That's why this is their final case. Yes, I don't think in the history world they do other cases, as they explain at the end with like the photos and stuff with the histories, but that's why they're reluctant to it. It's a love story, you know, about both of them. They continue on with their love and dynamics and relationships. And even Judy, we talked about her extensively before. She's older now, you know. What do you think she's gonna feel when she gets older? She obviously is gonna have to be incensed with that realm, you know, coming from her mother, which is like one of the I don't want to say like amazing stuff, but like she has so many good powers, and now her daughter has that. These movies, now now that I think about it, they contribute two favorite holidays, which is Halloween and Valentine's Day. Sorry, Christmas. Sorry, Jesus, you're in third place. But for some reason, Halloween and Halloween and Valentine's Day are the two best ones. We're gonna talk about two of my favorite scenes. So spoilers. So spoilers for these scenes. These take place in the middle and also 60% of the movie. One of them is a jump scares and one of them is an emotional scene. So if you don't want to know anything, just go to the ending, which is right here. I'll let you know the timestamp, and just to let you know, I graded it a B in IMAX, so your results may vary. The first scene that I want to talk about is actually scary. Judy is shopping her wedding dress because she's getting married. And remember, these are spoilers, so that's why there's a spoiler sign. The scene is tackled in a way where there's a lot of mirrors, right? And the way that scene was executed and done, I thought it was a good jump scares because I was still holding my eyes and I looked. And it shows another version of Judy, probably just a more demonic turn, and you're probably thinking, why? But it comes across closely if you've seen it because of the mirror that the person bought for their family in the beginning of the movie. So she's looking around and the mirrors change and they're opening and side doors. I don't know, for some things mirrors are always a good way, from like, especially for me, to get scared, because it's like a representation of you. Like, you might be an evil version and she's facing that and she's looking around, she's looking up, and I'm like, dude, that's so beautiful. I know it's shot in the trailers, but in IMAX, that was one of those scenes that was fully expanded. It was fancy, it was elegant. I mean, she's gorgeous as hell, and especially her wedding dress is cool. When I go out, I wear a suit. The other one that I really want to talk about, the second, is actually a lighthearted scene. This is where the guy actually asks Ed and Lorraine Warren if he can have their blessing to marry her daughter Judy, and he's telling him about his life and that he was a cop. And then the mother, she takes the ring and she puts it on the side of the foosball after they're having the foosball, right? So the father and this guy playing foosball, right? So he's like, oh, I want to marry your daughter. And then she's like, yeah, you can have her blessing. And the guy, Ed, Patrick Wilson's character, he's like, I don't know, we were young, and then of course, you know, masculine energies. This is his daughter. He's like, I don't know if you're the right guy for this. And the scene, the way it was ended, was beautifully done. So Judy comes in, right? And she's like, what's up? And she looks at the ring, and then he's like scrambling. I'm like, whoa, dude, that could have turned so wrong. And why would she put it there on the foosball table? But she's like, no, we gotta talk to you. And I love how she started getting smiley and giggly, and I think that was one of the scenes where I shedded my tears a little bit. And she's in the foreground, right? She takes initiative, and I love that because she wants to be with this guy too, right? And she says, is that for me? And she says it with such like enthusiasm, and she looks at the parents, and she's like, is that for me? And she takes a leap forward. She's like yes, like, if you're gonna ask me to marry you, do it now. And then he's fumbling with it because the guy was like, no, and the girl's like, yeah, you know, you want to marry me? And then they get married. I was like, dude, what the hell? That was so beautifully done. And I loved, I think my favorite thing was that she took initiative. You know, yeah, the guy already was on his knees because he was picking up the ring, and she came up, but the way she jumped at the opportunity of it, she's looking at the parents and she's like, is that for me? I would love for a woman to do that. I mean, it's scary and romance put together. If you really think about it, you know, in that ending, oh my god, which I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but so many great cameos. As you can see, there's a lot to like about this movie, and also probably not as scary as the other ones before, but overall through line is the Conjuring movies, the way that I've seen it is, yeah, they're scary, but they still kind of hold your hand, be like, hey, even though it's scary, we got you. At the end of the day, I'm gonna give this a grade B, and I saw this in IMAX, so results may vary. I don't think this review will be 17 minutes because there were so many planes, so I had to stop. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it so much. Maybe consider hitting that like button and turning on notifications so you never miss a video. And with that, take care, bye.